Here is an illustration on how to achieve this notch collar princess dart blouse. So here is my pattern to cut out this dress. So here is my starting line. We'll be attaching a collar here. Here is the shoulder to bust line, under bust line, waist line, and then measure your blouse length. So after marking this, you want to start by imputing your measurement. You're going to start by marking your shoulder divided by 2, and you're going to come down by 1 inch. From here, mark your neckline of 3 inches. Remember, we are cutting this in miniature form, so we are not using the actual measurement. So I'm just going to mark 3 inches by 3, which will serve as a guide, and I will connect. Now we're still going to alter that part, and I'll connect to the shoulder slope. The next step is to find your chest line, which is your bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches. So let's take this as our chest line, and I'll go ahead to draw out a straight line. After drawing this out, whatever you have on the shoulder, go ahead to place it back here. Now I'll go ahead to draw a straight line here. So what I'll now do is to divide what I have here into 2 equal parts and mark. I'll come out by ½ inch here, and on the chest line I'll go ahead to mark the bust circumference divided by 4. Now we'll connect from here all the way to this ½ inch, and then connect it to the bust circumference divided by 4. Now the next step I'm going to take is to mark my darts, which you need to mark your nipple to nipple divided by 2. My actual nipple to nipple is 7 inches divided by 2. I have 3.5 inches, which I'll be using. Now after connecting this to the bust, from this midpoint, go ahead to connect it all the way to the bust line. Now I'll start taking my dart intake. I'll mark ½ inch here and 1.5 inches here, right? So let's say you're a plus size or you're a bit busty, like you have a fuller bust, you use 1 inch here and then mark 2 inches on this side. So because we are not using the actual measurement, I'm just going to use this to mark. Now I'll go ahead to place my ruler and I'll connect. After connecting, I'll go ahead. So after marking this, I'm going to connect from the bust to the under bust and also connect at this point. Now the next step I'm going to take is to insert my measurement, but before doing that, I'll mark ½ inch dart intake here and ½ inch here. Then I'll go ahead to blend it out and also blend out this part. So I'll start inserting my body measurement. I'll mark the bust circumference divided by 4. You see this dart intake of ½ inch on both sides, replace it and add your sewing allowance. So I'm not actually replacing the actual measurement because this is an illustration. I'll mark the under bust circumference divided by 4, measure the dart intake, then replace it, add your sewing allowance, mark the waist circumference divided by 4, measure the dart intake, replace it and add the sewing allowance. And I'll go ahead to mark the hip circumference divided by 4. You measure the dart intake, replace and add your sewing allowance. Now what you do is to go ahead to connect your pattern. So from here you can come up by 1.5 inches and add like an extension all the way out. So I'll just connect this all this way, and from here I'll now try to mark out the lower part of this blouse. So I'll just go ahead to connect this way. Right now the next step is to mark your bust dart. To get your bust dart is the difference between your shoulder to waist in front and your shoulder to waist at the back. My actual shoulder to waist in front is 17, while my shoulder to waist at the back is 15.5. So if I take 15.5 out of 17, I'll have 1.5 inches, and I'll mark. Let's just say this is what I have, and I'll just go ahead to mark at this point, and I'll shade this out. The next step is to mark our collar. So for a basic back neckline, the round neck measurement, just like the front here, is usually 3.5. So I'll just go ahead to extend this. So let's say that whatever we have here now is 3.5 because we are marking this in form of an illustration. So from that point now, I'll come out by 1/2 inch and I will mark it back, make it relax into this pattern so that the collar will relax very well. So after marking this now, we're going to readjust the neckline. So we want to draw out a V neckline. So measure where you want the neckline to stop and you go ahead to connect, right? So after connecting now, you notice the collar did not start immediately. So what you do is from here pick a point and you're going to go out. So I'll connect from that point. I'll start going up. From here I'll go in a little. This is to give you that notched neckline, and I will now connect from there, go in by 1 inch or 1.5 inches. And for this neckline I'm using 3 inches here. You can use 3 inches here or extend it by 4, and then you now go ahead to connect, right? So make sure that whatever you have here aligns with here. That is from this starting line, from here to here is 3.5, from here to here is 3.5. So here is the center front. You cut 2 of these. This is the side front. So what I'll do is just to go ahead to cut it out. So I'll just go ahead to cut this out, and while cutting, please go ahead to blend out your darts. So when I was drafting, I forgot to mention something. So this 1/2 inch you have here on both sides, which is 1 inch, you will extend it and connect it back to the armhole of your dress. So I'll use a tape to hold it back. So this is what I have after I was done drafting out this part of this pattern.